Yo dudes, making another video. So I tried already making this video and my phone cut out on me, so yeah, that's some bull, but we're gonna keep to the video. So we start off with all of the power right after the Cell games. Goku gets revived, unlike in canon, as this is what if Goku was revived. So yeah, they all trained for that entirety of that 2 years, because Goku is still planning on being a scholar, but he told Chi-Chi straight out, they need me, I'm not gonna abandon my family. This entire world is my family. And he knows Mr. Satan took his credit. Goku is a little ticked off about it. So is Gohan and Vegeta too. They all want to. They have half a mind to march down there, call him a wuss, say that he stole that, and said, if you think you're that strong, fight me. And then just straight up wail on him until he's down for the count. Now, they wouldn't do this normally, but they still think it'd be fun to do. As Gohan he's keeping up with them, his younger body is better for training, because in your teen years you're just having way more training buffs than you when you're an old man. So he's got way better Zenkais too. We get to when Goten is little. He's already training with them. He already has Super Saiyan. He's even scratching the edge of Super Saiyan 2. And that's Goten. He's still a little kid. Now, I wouldn't call him crazy strong, but he could keep up with most of the humans. Goten and Trunks will train with the regular humans and Piccolo because, well, they need someone to train with too. And they can't really train with their dads, because if they do, they're gonna see, well, in base form, keeping up with their Super Saiyan forms. Yeah. And Gohan is out of the picture, because they have to 2v1 him for it to be an even fight, and then he throws in Super Saiyan 2, they're both at Super Saiyan 1, they're gonna get stomped. But when they're both at Super Saiyan and he's still in base, it's a good fight. He's in Super Saiyan, he's basically dominating. Now, one day, they're training everyone together, humans, Piccolo, and the Saiyans, until something odd happened. They noticed that there's a mysterious power. They kind of, most of the time, would ignore this, but not this time. They go to check out what it is, and it's odd. It's a pink guy. Now this is a good bit before the tournament. Like a few days. And this is also when Babidi landed on Earth. Now they don't know who this is, but they can tell, like, what the thing has with him is strong. Like, it may even take Gohan or Goku to stop. Vegeta, if he has to fight it, then that would mean it'd be a dang near stalemate. It may have to take all three of them to beat whatever the thing is, but they could keep up so far. But if this thing has multiple transformations like Saiyans do, then they won't be able to win. Sorry about that, guys. I had a really bad sneeze coming on. Allergies have really been messing me up lately. So we start off with seeing Deborah. Now they all fly back to where they need to be and land. The humans are about strong enough to keep up with the Super Saiyan 2, but only when they're using Roshi's buff form. And Piccolo is actually the strongest among everyone, because he's actually, without even powering up, because he has power stages too. He just doesn't have super turn. He just powers up, that he doesn't have any transformations. So in base key, Piccolo's the strongest, but there's still Namekian God, human God, that any of them could obtain. But they aren't going to obtain that until Super, to be fair, when Goku unlocks Super Saiyan God. It'll be a little bit after that. So they train for roughly 2 hours. That might sound like, okay, it's 2 hours of training. What's the best they can do? They're all really badly beaten. The Saiyans are, at least. And they all have senzu beans. They eat them and just stand back up being like twice the power level. Now, that is actually a pretty good estimate of what could happen. While even Deborah could feel this crazy huge change in power, he wasn't as worried as he could have been. He said, alright, I think there is a way to win. So the tournament happens, and in this version, Gohan, he just chose to be in it. And Videl knows the truth. She can fly too, like, she's still there. Gohan doesn't do the great Saiyaman thing, but out of the kindness of his heart, and the fact he got a girlfriend, he taught her how to fly. And harness ki. Now, Goku, they basically have the same thing happen, only in this version, Gohan and Goku said, Vegeta, if you break that punch scale, we break your face. Vegeta, knowing that one of them could keep up with them and two of them would probably easily outstomp him, he said fine. As they all kind of hit it at looking like they tried their best but got high scores, like all really above Mr. Satan, as whatever his name is, Hercule, and it was like he got like 254, which is impressive, I guess. Like, it was more than most people could get. Then you had Android 18, who just tapped it and got 771. You had Krillin, who got a good 700 in there. Every one of them got a 700. And then Goku and Vegeta and Gohan each got boom, 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 800 plus. Easy. Then you have Piccolo. When it's his turn, and he just says, alright. And he rears back his fist and punches it, and it shows 980. As shocked as everyone is, they're like, there a problem with that? No. As he walks in, they know that all the Z Warriors had gotten to join, and they're wondering who's gonna finally be the victor. So they still have the same problem with Boo being a thing, and this version, Gohan gets kicked out of the tournament because he sees that that thing is hurting Videl, and it's not letting her out of the ring, so it can't be counted as she's lost yet. Gohan busts on the scene, Super Saiyan 3. And that might sound crazy, but yeah, he actually had unlocked Super Saiyan 3 in their training, so no dirt. He goes Super Saiyan 3, busts his do-rag off that he was wearing. And you might be thinking, he wouldn't be Great Saiyaman, why would he have a do-rag on? Because do-rag, that's why. He straight up just flies in, grabs the dude by the neck, and it was like a jump to him. It wasn't even him flying at full Mach speed. He grabbed this thing, smashed his head into the ground, and started just beating him down. As bloody and beaten as this thing was, it still got up. And the other one came in too to help him, but Vegeta landed in saying, oh, I would have done the same thing, Gohan. And threw punch after punch at these fools, easy. Vegeta didn't even need to power up, and Gohan went out of Super Saiyan. Because he was just done with it. And they started wailing on these little dudes. Now, that's not crazy powerful, but it's still something pretty impressive. So they wind up actually walking. Vegeta didn't really get disqualified. It was just no big deal. Gohan was going to, and then there was like, nah, there's no need to disqualify him. But then them and Goku leave. Now, they think about it, and they look at someone. This is surprising them. They look at Piccolo saying, hey, Piccolo, do you mind winning that money? Because Chi-Chi would be mad if we didn't get it. Not a problem, Goku. And Piccolo's trip it turns into where it's 18 and Piccolo and Mr. Satan, as well as the Masked Warrior. They all know who the Masked Warrior is, but he winds up fighting Hercule. Hercule gets absolutely bodied by this thing. Piccolo wound up winning the fight, and then it was just Goten and Trunks versus Piccolo, in a sense. As Piccolo threw a punch that wound up just making them spin around backwards until they hit the ground. Piccolo won and gave the money to Chi-Chi. Second place goes to the Masked Warrior, which was shown to be just the kids. And third place wound up being between Hercule and Android 18. So they both wound up going at each other, and then Hercule said, "Let me win this, please. I'll even pay you this, give you the money, or even more." Okay. As Android 18 fell out the ring, saying, "Alright, you win." Which, if you're wondering why I made it that way, I just thought it'd be funny. Now, you have them going to fight Boo. But the tournament didn't last much long after they had, done that. Sure, the regular humans' mouths took a little bit, but then Gohan just went, blah. But literally any one of the stronger fighters, the Z-Warriors, just went, blah, 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 blah. Now, Krillin was in the top 5. Now, Krillin, they had all get knocked out by, their own friends, Piccolo. Yamcha got knocked out by the one person he wasn't expecting, Android 18. And Krillin got taken out by one person, the Masked Fighter. And that was because the Masked Fighter did a move that Krillin wasn't used to, which only they could do. Krillin threw a punch, the Masked Fighter threw a kick. And that was because he had only ever, the only thing he had hit was the top body part. Sorry guys, I'm pretty tired, so he only ever hit, he was aiming for, the stomach, wound up hitting, he knew who it was after a minute, so he literally just said, and stepped out. Because he didn't want to hurt the kids, and if he had to power up, he would have hurt them. Because they weren't going to let him just win, and they weren't going to see if they could last longer, but he mainly did that to see if they would win the fight. Because he knew they had to fight, there wouldn't be an easy match, but maybe they'd be too weak to fight against, the final power-ups. Now, we do have a form that Goku has that is probably the strongest form there. And that would be Super Saiyan Super. And that is just something I like to call when all three of them go Super Saiyan 3, and the other two just drain all that Super Saiyan 3 energy into Goku. And this much power is enough to throw anyone off their game. This would be enough power to pop Beerus in the mouth and knock him to the side. So, they wound up beating Deborah effortlessly. Then they wound up squaring up with, they still had to fight those three, and this version is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Gohan got to fight Deborah, and Deborah and Gohan have a dang near even fight. Well, Gohan's in base form. Then when Gohan just goes Super Saiyan, he's kick down Deborah. Then that was enough power collected to unlock Boo. When Boo walks out, he absorbs Deborah. Gohan goes to fight in Super Saiyan, and then he's nah. He goes Super Saiyan 2, and his blast attack did nothing. He powered into Super Saiyan 3. Nothing. They all go into Super Saiyan 3 and then do a triple team attack. It almost it dang near obliterated Boo. But that's when something unexpected happened. The kids and everyone else showed up, all helping with more attacks, almost destroying Boo entirely. But thanks to a weird matter thing, he meets Hercule, becomes friends or whatever, puffs out the evil Boo absorbs him, becomes Super Boo. Super Boo straight up just gets bodied again until evil Boo is gone and only good Boo is left remaining. Good Boo, basically no one really died this big deal because everyone there is at least Super Saiyan 3 level, so yeah. They wind up all doing the regular thing. In this version, we're gonna skip a few things. So, Goku and... So we have Bulma, and they all met the Kais the same way. And... they wanted to see if any of them were strong enough to pull the Z-Sword out. And... Gohan pulled it out. But then he put it back, saying no one else should be able to get this other than me, right? Yeah. Vegeta pulled it out. Anyone else? No, there shouldn't only be one. Goku walks up, rips it out the ground, saying, really? Only one? And they will all start training with the sword. While one does martial arts training, the other one does sword training. And they swap that out every few hours. And eventually, you have it where each of them can easily wield that sword. Now the Z-Sword, something was odd. So they wound up doing the cutting training, and they were fine. Then the strongest material came out, and they just broke the sword against it. Accidentally. And just released the Elder Kai. Then Goku, Gohan, and Vegeta asked if there was a way to get another Z-Sword. Or like copy its creation. And then the Elder Kai said yes. But it's a very strong weapon. It would take at least... Well, it would take all the Kais working together to make one. And it would take about 3 days. Can you make 3 of them? That would take 9 days. We'd have to spend over a week. What would make you worthy of such weapons? Well, we are the ones who freed you. Alright, good point. Let's get to work. They wound up making it. But in this version, they make it out of the heaviest and strongest material. Well, the strongest material. Like that giant block. They took one roughly about 8 times as big. And used it to craft the strongest material into a giant sword. Not really giant sword, but it was one really powerful sword. And now Gohan, and they all carry it the same way Trunks does on his back, because it looks epic. Now, Trunks' sword is a little bit different. As we see right here, Trunks' sword is something he's had for a while, and reminds me of the sword that they had whenever they were fighting that big demon. But I'm not certain, so I'm just gonna say Trunks' sword is a really powerful sword as well, that's able to chop through Super Saiyan 2 level threats, or even 3. Because, let's face it was able to dice and slice through anyone. I mean, yeah, like... And they actually wound up getting 2 more. These were for the little kid. These were for Gohan and Goten when they were actually able to train with them. They could both already lift these swords, but training with Goku and Gohan, they wound up all using practice swords, but then noted that when they swung these practice swords, they snapped on impact. So they actually had to be really nice and say, could we get more practice swords? What do you mean? What do you mean practice swords? Well, we need strong swords to practice with so we won't break these ones. Alright. So now, we skipped the whole Goku Black incident. Well, really, we go to this Universe 6 thing. And in this version, because they were training, and had Trunks unlock Super Saiyan 2 when he went back, before he went back, he's able to instantly just wreck anyone else. And then he kept training and unlocked Super Saiyan 3. That's not a bad thing to have. They remember the hyperbolic time chamber, and he basically had a kid with Mai, roughly 9 months after he came back and killed the androids. And then a little bit after that, they all three walked in there, and he was a year old, the kid at least. Mai walked out saying, "Y'all should train together for a little bit." Not yet. They go in there with Mai again. Another year passes. To them, while it was only a day. They train again. Then, something really unexpected happens. They're all stronger. The kid is showing some remarkable strength. With a Super Saiyan 2 at the edge of Super Saiyan 3 father, he can keep up pretty well. And he won't shrink whenever he gets back to Super. He's gonna stay looking like this. They're all pretty threatening if you couldn't guess by their looks so far. They're just wailing through any regular threat. And on alternate Earth, where I kind of want to call it that, but the future Earth thing, when Boo finally gets there, Trunks' kid is already strong enough to keep up. And by keep up, I mean the dude's actually strong enough to where he looks like he's 7 already, and he technically is because of the hyperbolic time chamber. And he's trained for a good bit with Trunks, and he's already strong enough to keep up. He's able to go Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 2 quite easily. Like, from birth, he's able to do it easy. And he winds back to being stronger than his father. His father even got him a sword. Because there are still Kais in this world. Now, the Kais, when he asked them to make him a sword, a strong one that would no matter what never break, they said it would take 3 days. But they would also wind up offering him the Z sword to see if he could use it. He actually greatly accepts, still ended up breaking the sword, talked to the elder, boom, got himself a new sword. He took his old sword, because they were basically, and he actually asked them to make it look like his old sword and be the same thing. They had, and he took his old sword and gave it to his son, which had been fixed up by the Kais. So when Boo winds up arriving, he sees a kid with a giant sword on his back. Well, comparative to his size, that's about, like, regular Trunks' age look. And then you have future Trunks himself, who towers next to Boo, straight up looking mean. Now, it wound up all getting unlocked because they were just absorbing energy from, like, the surrounding area. They were absorbing it while Trunks and, I don't know, random name input here. I'm gonna call the kid Goten because I think that'd be something he would put. Just for some reason, I don't know. Or maybe even name it after his master, Gohan. Yeah, I'm just gonna name this kid Gohan. So, yeah, it was their training that unlocked Boo, and Deborah still got eaten. But in this version, they just straight up blow Boo up. They don't care. So, we go on back to the regular timeline. They straight up are training crazy on Bulma's birthday. Now, this is a really important thing, as saying 3 of the Saiyans are actually on the Elder Kai, the South Kai, or whatever Kai it is, planet. let's go. They wound up getting to the Kai world, and unexpectedly, the three are not who you might be expecting. Well, actually, it's three. Well, actually, no, it's four. Vegeta's there at the party. Three would actually make sense, so we're gonna boot one of them off. Vegeta and Trunks are at the party. Gohan, Goten, and Goku are all there training. Now, Gohan and Goku, there's Patara earrings. There's two pairs of Patara earrings they were given. One for Goku and Vegeta to use, and one for Goku and for Gohan and Gotenks to fuse. You might be thinking, Gotenks? Is he really that strong? Well, technically he is. Only in this version they look a little bit older than they had in canon. They look more defined. Gohan and Goten and Trunks look like they are actually more adults. They're basically up to the chest of Goku and are about as buff as Gohan was when he was their age. So they're actually pretty big dudes so far. Now, we have them all training. All of them are training. With, like, crazy accuracy. Now, what I mean by crazy accuracy, I mean they're literally just goated. You have a Super Saiyan 2 Goten keeping up with Super Saiyan Goku and Gohan. While he can't go Super Saiyan 3, he can keep up. Now, when Beerus had wound up meeting Goku, Gohan, and Goten, Gohan has actually already learned the instant transmission because Goku thought it would be a good idea to teach him. And Goku said, go tell the others. I can handle this. If not, the Kai will inform them, okay? But be ready on Earth, okay? Gohan wound up even going instant transmission saying, where are the other two? Goku saying, I sent them out of here. Oh, really? Why was that? Well, it's a friend of mine's birthday party today, and I wanted to give her a little surprise. And they were the ones in charge of that. Stop it. Saying, okay. Beerus wound up standing in the same stance, only in this version, Goku saying, alright. Super Saiyan. As he said, do you know what a Super Saiyan God is? No. This is Super Saiyan, this is Super Saiyan 2, this is Super Saiyan 3. There is a Super Saiyan 4, but I can't really use it that well. Show me. For a single second, he goes into Super Saiyan 4, then comes back down and eats a Senzu Bean because it was too straining on the body. And it wound up almost ripping him to shreds. Oh, so it's just too hard for you to go into. Yes. It's quite gorilla-ish. True. Well, we can just keep training, can't we? Yes, we can. Goku in Super Saiyan 3 winds up throwing mad haymakers at Beerus. And instead of it just being 3 shots, which it's still not that many extra, but it was 10 hits. And that's all it took. And these were full-on blown punches instead of the regular taps like he got in canon. Saying what happened, they're so conflicted. Because, yes, Goku was stronger than the other two by a hair. But, and then Goku thought, as Goku ate a Senzu Bean real quick, standing up in front of Beerus saying, that wasn't all I had. He goes into a Super Saiyan 3 transformation, and then proceeds to use Kaioken times 200. Which is more than most of the times he's ever used Kaioken. He punched and almost ripped and punched Beerus, and it sent him flying. Beerus saying, oh, that was strong, but is that all you have? As Goku's lying on the floor, he says, how? As the Kai says, My technique, Kaioken, is strong, but it is taxing on the body. He had one punch in that and 2 times 200 Kaioken. So even in Super Saiyan 3, he surpassed your power for a minute for a single punch to rip your fate, to punch you in the mouth. Ah, so it's a strong multiplier enough to even crush me. Yes. What would happen if you went into it? I can only go times 2. He can go a lot higher. As Goku wound up beating another Senzu Bean, getting another Zenkai boost. At this point, Gohan and Goten are thinking, Gohan and Vegeta are thinking, saying, well, there is a way to strengthen. What is it, Vegeta? They take a full sack of Senzu Beans with like 50 Senzu Beans in it and go into a special training room made for them to actually, like, go. And it's actually a room specifically made for torture, in a sense. Vegeta said this room was constructed in case there was ever a threat so big that we had no chance against. We made it after Boo. Looks like now we use it. Really? What do we do? As Vegeta fully powers up an attack and blasts it right into Gohan's back, fed him a Senzu Bean, and he said, Vegeta, you tell me why you did that. Saiyan Zenkais. We had no other choice. That thing took down your father. We've got roughly 10 minutes to take it down. To get enough power to do that easy. I see. As they both wound up doing this again and again and again, and then they only had 2 Senzu Beans left. Vegeta popped Gohan one more time. Gohan ate a Senzu Bean. Gohan reared back another hit and hit Vegeta, which almost ripped his face off, ate a Senzu Bean. Now their power levels are almost high enough to keep up with Beerus. Like, not really, but they can go into Super Saiyan 4 at this point because their bodies can just handle the strain. Now, Goku can easily look eye to eye with... Now, Goku isn't as strong as they are at the moment. He knows what they did, and he said, Goten, Trunks, come here. He appeared and then said, come here, you two. Just for a few minutes. They both blast him, and he ate a Senzu Bean again, and again, and again, and again. For roughly 5 minutes. Which was more effective because it wasn't taking turns healing. It was just heal, destroy, heal, destroy. Then they looked about just as powerful as each other. They were still a 3-way tie, but that was because they ran out of Senzu Beans again. Dende saying, you can all 3 do that one more time. First, Vegeta taking a hit, Dende healing him, Gohan taking a hit, Dende healing him, and then Goku taking the hit, and Dende healing him. Now, they wind up saying, wait, didn't I just destroy you on that planet? I didn't actually kill you, but I did beat you down. Well, you think you're strong enough to stop me now? As he powers into Super Saiyan 4, saying, who knows, let's give it a shot. Everyone else, the other 2 powering into Super Saiyan 4, Trunks and Krillin having a case of Senzu Beans themselves, wound up doing the same training for a minute or 2. Then they noted that they were done with the training, and looked eye to eye with each other. They wound up going into Super Saiyan 3, and they wound up using the fusion dance, powered into their full form, which was Super Saiyan 4 of this version, blast forward and popped and one shot straight up into the mouth of Beerus, causing blood from the cat's mouth. As he was getting jumped by 3 of these things, now he's getting jumped by 4. Krillin saying, it's time we do it, guys. Krillin grabbing a Patara earring and throwing it to Piccolo, buffing up, they fuse. Tien and Yamcha saying, alright, and do the fusion dance. They all three fly back up. And they're just wailing on Beerus. Beerus then straight up just boom. Knocked the fusion out of Yamcha and Tien, knocking them out of their buff form. They hit the ground completely down for the count. Luckily, there was a little surprise. They had an extra thing of senzu beans no one knew about, except for Yajirobe. He said that he had the senzu beans. He said, "Here, take one." That he gave them both one, and then they were like, "Our head hurts." Too bad we don't have Saiyan Zenkais, or else we'd be the most powerful people among everywhere. Then they wind up flying back up and continuing the fight, just to get knocked straight out of it again. Only in this version, Yajirobe doesn't even have time to give them a senzu bean, as boom, another one fell, which was Piccolo and Krillin, out of the fusion, out of everything. They hit the ground and bounced. They completely out of it. Then you have Beerus, who's straight up overwhelming them with his full power. But remember, this wasn't just Beerus fighting. He yelled to Whis for help, because they were outmatching him easily. Whis wound up even stopping Goku and, well, Vegeta in their tracks. Tried stopping Gohan, but took a pop to the mouth for it. He wasn't in Ultra Instinct use, but he wound up even turning it on to stop this fight. But that was only so effective. He wound up backing out of the fight, saying, "It's your fight now, not mine." As he had taken down Goku and Vegeta, even taken Gohan down, as Beerus was mainly just fighting the humans and the little Saiyan boys. And now it was just those versus Beerus. They locked hands, and then he said, "Full power," and went into Super Saiyan 5, which was a whole lot stronger than expected, as it was able to one-punch Beerus and send him flying into the wall, flying down to there. Beerus getting back up, saying, "Oh yeah," as they wound up that's when they wound up going out of their fusion and back out to suggest their Super Saiyan 3 forms. As they both wound up going back into it to fight him, it wasn't working. Their Super Saiyan 3 forms were not strong enough to keep up. But they were able to land some crazy haymakers on him. With their combo power, it was pretty impressive. As Yajirobe ran out of senzu beans, giving it to the Saiyans, as he noted that the senzu beans are gone. That he had finally ran out of senzu beans, saying, "Korin, we have to go back and get more." Krillin having the last one, saying, "I'll go help," and blast forward, grabbing the full pot, flying backwards, and it was a full to the brim pot of senzu beans. And they wound up giving it to the other humans, but then they noticed something. The senzu beans, well, they had a full pot of senzu beans. It wasn't good enough. As they had taken Beerus on a good bit, Beerus had then said, "Alright, now it's back to the thing I came here for." After finally winning the fight and running out of senzu beans, they were all pretty much as strong as Super Saiyan Blue Goku was, when Super Saiyan 4 was the thing for them. I mean, they could even go into Super Saiyan 5 pretty much easy with the dub. But they wound up not being able to fully yet.
it was like they could go into it for landing a single hit, but Goku was a little different. He would go into it and go into Kaioken, and then multiply by like 200, and then that one punch would almost kill Beerus. But Beerus was being healed the whole time by Whis. But they wound up finally winning the fight. By Goku going into Super Saiyan God, with a lot extra power happening.
Hi guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. So they are fighting Beerus, and they put Beerus a run for his money. At least that's what they think. The cat god was only going about 50%, which is what he is going against God Goku in canon, so that's pretty impressive. He wasn't even trying at about 12% to fight the regular ones. Hold on, guys. Alright, so we start off with... So we finished this. I'm gonna finish this. There's gonna be a part 2, okay? So we end off with God Goku just straight up just whooping on Beerus until Beerus goes 75%. And Goku still had, like, that thing happened where the same kind of ending happened. Beerus blows up a rock, that's all. So yeah, that's about part 1 of what if Goku was revived. Later, dude.